Good morning. It's Vijay here. Welcome to another pre market commentary. It's Friday, the 6th of June. Sorry, 7th of June. So, the last few days have been extraordinarily volatile because of the exit poll and then the final poll numbers and then the cabinet formation. So before we get into that, with the title about the volatility, about the pump, dump, and pump scheme of the big players, let's not talk from a political angle, but I'm talking about from a purely a mathematical angle. So before we dive into that, let's look at what's happened yesterday. Yesterday, Nifty went up 200 points. Bank Nifty went up 318 points. Today is the RBI policy, and uh, I don't expect anything spectacular to happen. So it will be a nothing policy, I suspect, unless they throw a surprise, because the Canadian central bank as well as the European central bank have both reduced interest rates. Now that has not had any great effect on the equity markets globally. US is very mixed. US is led by Nvidia, and in the broader market led by GameStop. If I were to make a prediction, the top of the US markets will happen based on good news in both Nvidia and GameStop. Now, whether the good news has happened yesterday, it's very difficult to say, because S&P and Nasdaq both hit an all-time high. Now, the what shall I say? Unique part of yesterday's rally and then slight dip for Nasdaq is that Nvidia, a very major component, did volume which was greater than the top 20 stocks, the other 19 stocks. If you take the top 20 stocks, Nvidia led by volume to an aggregate of the other 19 stocks. And these 19 stocks are not ordinary stocks. They are Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, Google, Amazon. These are the kind of stocks which are highly liquid. Now, sigma of it is still less than what Nvidia did. Of course, Nvidia came off the highs, so we'll have to see whether it has got some more steam. I think Nvidia will dictate the Nasdaq's moves in a very big manner. Now let's talk about another stock called GameStop. GameStop is what I call the revenge of the retailers on the big firms. So GameStop has been jacked up by buying call options by these retailers. They did it 2 years ago, 2 3 years ago, and they squeezed out a lot of large hedge funds. So the hedge funds went short. They have gone further short now, and the person who's operating GameStop, which is called some Kitty, that Kitty guy is now Roaring Kitty, is what he calls himself. He has now built up call options, and he's actually showing it on the screen, saying that I have built up so much call options, and they have to be exercised, I think, in the next few days. If they on 20th, I think, if he exercises it, there are no such stocks available. So I don't know exactly what will happen. Before that, I think the stock will, what we call a gamma squeeze will happen. That is, the prices will keep going up because the people who are short, they are forced to buy it to hedge their short positions. So this will be a very interesting fortnight, I would say, rather than a day or two. So Nvidia and GameStop, remember these two stocks. These will be the poster boys of the next crash, whenever that comes. I don't know when, but whenever it comes, these two will be the poster boys. Like we talked of, Intel and Amazon in the 2000. So, so that is something to watch for in the US markets concerned. Now, talking of Asian markets, they opened flat. Everything else is flat excepting silver, which has rebounded significantly from below 30 to about 31.4. Currently, it's trading at 31. Oil also is slightly rebounding. Over the weekend, you may have some skirmishes escalating in Israel, Lebanon, because I think the Lebanese militants have threatened Israel and they're bombing Israel. So that's a new front. It is no longer Palestine. It's also Lebanon, which has come into much more focus. Now, about the pump and dump scam, while the political parties can fight about JPC, I am like trying to look at a different angle, which is the mathematical angle, which is what were mutual funds and others were doing. So, as I always said, there are three forces in the market: the foreign institutional investors, mutual funds, and a third force, The third force consists of what we call operators. They are ultra high net worth individuals. They are PMS, AIF, corporate bodies, and politicians, and of course, retail direct investors, which form a small segment. But the biggest segment is what I call the third force, which is the UHNIs and the AIFs and MFs and the corporates, as well as the politicians. Now, if you look at what happened, for instance, last Friday, the markets were down, for much part of it. In fact, they closed down. The previous week, they were continuously down. And as I had written in the Hindu an article, which said the markets get it right, but the market men not always. So it was very much clear in that week, last week, that the NDA will not get more than 300 seats. And people were talking of 400 par. Now, what happened on Friday was it was up, I think, by about 42 points finally. And the DIS sold, DIS bought 5,200 crores. That's a normal thing because DIs are supposed to buy low and sell high. And the others bought 608 crores. FIs, of course, sold 5,800 crores, assuming that they knew what was happening. Now, what happened on the exit poll, subsequent to exit poll, that was on Monday, was very interesting. So DIS bought and FIs bought on that day, and the market took off. It went up, I think, by about more than 700 points, 733 points to be exact. Now, that day, who was on the other side? The others were on the other side. The third force was on the other side. They bought 8,765 crores. I raised this issue 2-3 times in my last week's, in this week's actually, my podcast, because who is buying 8,800 crores? Those guys are, who's selling? These guys are buying. The institutions are buying. Both of them are buying, which is very, very unusual. And they are not supposed to be buying at the higher levels, whereas above 700 points, the mutual funds were buying. I'm now focusing only on mutual funds and the others category. So then what happened? The following day, the results came and then the market crashed. The market crashed close to 2,000 points. Finally, it bounced back and closed about 1,400 points. Now, what happened to the numbers of DIs? DIs actually sold on that day. They sold about 3,300 crores. And FIS sold 12,000 crores. So who bought 15,754 crores was the net selling figure by the institutions. On the previous day, they bought worth about 8,700 crores, which I suspect was sold by the others. And on the election day, when the market crashed, they bought sold 15,754 crores, which was bought by the others category. So who are these others who bought on this day and got a bargain by selling the previous day? So that is, see, you are talking of a 700 plus 2,700 points lower, or at least 2,000 points lower, the other category people got it. So the scam is there. Not, I don't know, people are pointing out various fingers. I think it is in the mutual funds who have, they are supposed to be buying low, but they sold high and they bought low. They sold low and bought high. And the following 2 days, that is Wednesday and Thursday, again, mutual funds have been buying. So mutual funds are buying, which was on Wednesday, it went up by 700 points, mutual funds are buying. Yesterday, it went up by 200 points, mutual funds are buying. When it fell 2,000 points, mutual funds were selling. And the previous day, on Monday, when it went up by 700 points, mutual funds were buying. So this needs to be investigated as to you have a fiduciary duty. You are supposed to take care of the retail investors' money. I think mutual funds have let down this investors very, very badly. I smell a scam here. It is very, very unlikely that mutual fund behavior has suddenly changed in the last 1 week, where they're buying high and selling low. And they have done this yesterday, which again a pumping operation is started. So we don't know exactly what will happen today, because now the water has been so muddied that anything can happen today. So it can happen not based on any event also. So it can just mindless volatility we can see today. And we are having a cabinet formation on Sunday. So we'll see a mindless volatility again on Monday. So what I am saying is, be very careful. Do not take huge positions. It is better to keep quiet when this kind of volatility is there. When the big elephants fight, the rats like us will get trampled. So please be careful. Whatever you do, have a good day. Thank you very much for joining. It's Vijay here signing off.